Introduction of Meno. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read for you by Chiquito, Crasto. Meno by Plato. Translated by Benjamin Jowett. Introduction. This dialogue begins abruptly with a question of Meno, who asks whether virtue can be taught. Socrates replies that he does not as yet know what virtue is, and has never known any one who did. Then he cannot have met Gorgias when he was at Athens. Yes, Socrates had met him, but he has a bad memory, and has forgotten what Gorgias said. Will Meno tell him his own notion, which is probably not very different from that of Gorgias? Oh yes, nothing easier. There is the virtue of a man, of a woman, of an old man, and of a child. There is a virtue of every age and state of life, all of which may be easily described. Socrates reminds Meno that this is only an enumeration of the virtues, and not a definition of the notion which is common to them all. In a second attempt, Meno defines virtue to be the power of command. But to this, again, exceptions are taken. For there must be a virtue of those who obey, as well as of those who command. And the power of command must be justly or not unjustly exercised. Meno is very ready to admit that justice is virtue. Would you say virtue or a virtue? For there are other virtues, such as courage, temperance, and the like. Just as round is a figure, and black and white are colors, and yet there are other figures and other colors. Let Meno take the examples of figure and color, and try to define them. Meno confesses his inability, and after a process of interrogation, in which Socrates explains to him the nature of a simile in multis, Socrates himself defines figure as the accompaniment of color. But some one may object that he does not know the meaning of the word color, and if he is a candid friend and not a mere disputant, Socrates is willing to furnish him with a simpler and more philosophical definition, into which no disputed word is allowed to intrude. Figure is the limit of form. Meno imperiously insists that he must still have a definition of color. Some raillery follows, and at length Socrates is induced to reply that color is the effluence of form, sensible and in due proportion to the sight. This definition is exactly suited to the taste of Meno, who welcomes the familiar language of Gorgias and Empedocles. Socrates is of the opinion that the more abstract or dialectical definition of figure is far better. Now that Meno has been made to understand the nature of a general definition, he answers in the spirit of a Greek gentleman, and in the words of a poet, that virtue is to delight in things honorable, and to have the power of getting them. This is a nearer approximation than he has yet made to a complete definition, and, regarded as a piece of proverbial or popular morality, is not far from the truth. But the objection is urged that the honorable is the good, and as every one equally desires the good, the point of the definition is contained in the words, the power of getting them, and they must be got justly or with justice. The definition will then stand thus: virtue is the power of getting good with justice, but justice is a part of virtue, and therefore virtue is the getting of good with a part of virtue. The definition repeats the word defined. Meno complains that the conversation of Socrates has the effect of a torpedo's shock upon him. When he talks with other persons, he has plenty to say about virtue. In the presence of Socrates, his thoughts desert him. Socrates replies that he is only the cause of perplexity.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?